Um, Dwayne, I'll get going then. You're going into this game in good health, aren't you, in terms of the way you are and what you've done the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think so. I think that a lot of hard work been going on over the course of pre-season into now, really. I think that, last couple of weeks since the break, we've been competitive, obviously, in the first two games, disappointed not to get over the line. So last week was fairly important, really, with the fact that, we against tricky opposition, they made life really difficult for us. They were competitive, they were aggressive. And I thought it was important to see that game out. So, um, obviously, going into this week, that helps, when you come off the back of a win. But realise, obviously, the task at hand this week is a different challenge and one we're looking forward to.
You've not won a an away game, league game in Swansea for 7 years. Does that sort of thing get talked about amongst players, when
Yeah,
especially when it's a local derby?
yeah, we've talked about it this week, undoubtedly. Understanding why that is the case, and what are we going to do differently to try and get over the line this week. There's always an emotion to these games. There's always a lot riding on it in terms of local bragging rights, etc. Exactly like you would imagine from a derby. So they've been tight games. There've been games where we probably haven't been as good as we'd have liked down Swansea's, but this year we're determined to go there and put our best foot forward. And we worked hard on our game plan over the last couple of days, and over the course of the last couple of weeks. So it's an exciting one for us, really.
Taking place 4 days before Christmas rather than the day after Christmas, which is traditional. Does that make any difference?
Well, it means I have Christmas off for the first time in 20 odd years. So so that's a bit of a bonus for everyone. But I think that no, it doesn't make a difference in terms of going week to week. I think we like go to roll week on week, and I think it does mean that we can get a bit of an extended break over the Christmas period. Traditionally, the Boxing Day derby's been, very, since I remember, really, we've had either a Swansea Llanelli derby or an Ospreys Scarlets derby, so it's going to be slightly different. But in terms of magnitude and around the Christmas period, it doesn't really make much of a difference, Guy, if I'm honest.
So you're facing a side who've just suffered a record European defeat and have lost their head coach this week. What are you expecting from the Ospreys?
Look, I think that from my perspective, as you know yourself, that derbies bring a different kind of intensity, a different kind of emotion. We haven't won down here for a number of years, like you mentioned. Um, Obviously, the news with Toby at the start of the week as well. That can work both ways as well. And expecting it. As you've seen in many times when this happens, you have a bit of a bounce or reaction of some sort. But from our perspective, you look at the players they have in their squad, they're competitive, international quality players, and they'll be up for this, no doubt. So I'm expecting it to be a tight battle.
It's a brutal business, Dwayne coaching. You'll have dealt with Toby over the last couple of years. Just as a word for him and what he's done for the Ospreys there.
Yeah, obviously done a good job there. I think that um, it's never nice in any walk of life when you see someone lose their job like that. Obviously, it was announced at the start of the season that he was going to be leaving at the end of the season, but um, it's not for me to comment on the decision, etc. Obviously sure he's done a good, he obviously has done a good job there, and yeah, it's never nice to see that happen, really.
What will a Mark Jones head coach side look like compared to Toby Booth? Are you expecting any much different, or it's only been a couple of days? Do you think they'll be very, very similar to what you'd expect?
Um, yeah, I think look, we haven't paid too much focus to that. If I'm perfectly honest, I think that Boise's Mark has been there. Boise, I call him. Sorry, but, Mark's been there now for a couple of seasons, so um, yeah, I'm expecting him to what he will bring is energy. He will bring enthusiasm, and he will get them ready emotionally, I'm sure, for this game. So knowing him as well as I have over the last 20 odd years, it's he'll definitely bring those elements to their team. And I wish him all the best in the role, really.
And as you say, somebody you known as a player going back to the early 2000s.
Well, earlier, Llanelli Youth, actually. So I was just thinking 20 years. I'd forgotten how old I was. So probably 30 years, is the honest truth of it. But yeah, so he's a guy who, yeah, I've known him for most of my life, really, in terms of rugby. Came through Llanelli Youth here and youth with us here, 21s, and then obviously graduated through to the Scarlets here, Llanelli and Scarlets. So he's a rugby man through and through, real enthusiasm. Um, he's non-stop rugby, so it's you're so sure he'll do a good job there.
And this game, it's just a little bit different, Dwayne, isn't it? Just this occasion, this rivalry.
Yeah, yeah, it has been, and I think that nothing gets your blood going more than a West Wales derby. As soon as the game was finished on Sunday, all the focus was switched straight away to this game. I think it is a fantastic occasion. It is one that brings rivalry. It's bragging rights. Like it's great, and as I said, I've been lucky enough to be part of it as a coach, as a player, going back to pre-regional rugby as well with the Llanelli Swansea, Llanelli Neath days. Some great occasions, some great teams who have played in these fixtures as well. So yeah, it'll be a big one, and hopefully we get the crowd down there at Swansea that will do it justice, really.
And final one, how's your squad looking injury wise? Anybody back? Anybody out from the weekend? Or are you okay?
No,
Even though you got a 6 day turnaround.
we're okay in terms of the weekend. Everyone from the weekend came through, so that's always the balance with a 6 day turnaround. That's always the risk you run, really. But no, we were fortunate to have everyone come through the game fine.
Thank you. Good luck on the weekend.
Yeah, thanks.
Steph?
Steph?
Like, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Sorry. Yeah. In terms of injuries, Blair Murray and Ryan Elias back this weekend.
Um, Blair will be available. Yeah, Blair will be available. Ryan's probably got a while to go yet.
Talking to Johnny Williams next. Obviously he's been in form this season. I mean, can you just sum up how important he's been to the turnaround in the Scarlets' form this season?
Yeah, I think he's a player who has led from the front. One thing about Johnny is that every time he plays, he's impactful on the game. I feel like he always has an impact on the game, whether that's his ball carries, whether that's a hit in defence out the back, or a good read in defence. I think he's a player who always stands up for us, and what he has become of late, over the last year or so as a leader as well. He's very vocal in the team room. He's very vocal in the meetings, etc., and leading, wanting the best. And I think that desire for him to get better is big, and I think that he demands high standards of everyone around. He's not afraid to call a spade, and that's why he's grown into a real leader for us. But for me, every time he plays, he has impact. So like we really delighted with the form he's showing and what he's given us, both on the field and off the field.
Are you a bit surprised that he's not been in the Wales squad recently, given his form and the style of player he is?
Yeah, look, I can only speak from, and I've said before many a time around Johnny, I can only speak from my perspective and through my eyes. I think he's a player who has international quality. So whether he's selected or not, in my eyes, he is impactful for us, and I can only say what he's doing for us and what I think he could potentially step up and give as well.
Yeah, one player who might have gone a bit under the radar when you announced your signings, but he's really come to the fore is Ellis Me. What have you made of him so far? He seems to be getting better with every game, and he's only 21, isn't he? So
Is he 21 yet? I don't think he is 21 yet, but he's close to it anyway. I, uh, I think you're right on, Steph. I think he's getting better each game. And I think a lot of that's to do with a bit of confidence as well and belief. We try and encourage him to have a crack and have a go. And we watched him play over the last year or so for Nottingham, and he's been very, very good, stand out in terms of his running ability. I think we're starting to see a bit of that now. Now he's getting comfortable with the group. Now he's getting comfortable with the rugby, the environment as well. You know, it's a big move for him to come down from Nottingham. Yeah, he's starting to settle in really well here now, and yeah, really happy with how he's going. He's a big frame. He's a big man. So yeah, and I think we're using him wisely over the next couple of weeks as well. You know, I think we've managed to bring him in, take him out, bring him in, take him out, and that'll probably be the nature of how it goes, with the quality around him as well.
Yeah, and talking about young talented backs, I'm sure you'd have seen Carwyn Jones, the outside half in the schools and colleges final. Is he somebody they are excited by as well? Is he part of the future plans of the Scarlets?
Well, the way he's going now, yeah, he has to be part of it. I think he's been exceptional, isn't he, over the last 2 years, really. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how he grows in his game. You know, he's one of those guys who understands the game and takes good decisions. You know, look at the cup final, the drop goals, etc. You know, we don't see that many, you don't see that much, and I think that what he has got is a bit of flair around it as well. No, I think it'll be a big step for him now over the next year or so when he grows into playing men's rugby, etc. But from where he's sitting at the minute, he's looking a pretty special talent, yes.
Would the plan for Carwyn to be playing Super Rugby Cymru next season?
Yeah, I think so. I think he should be, and you know, I'm sure he can progress quickly into that. You know, I think he's important. He finishes off his time at Canterbury College well, and then move on from there. That's the natural progression for him. And we'll see how he goes, really, Steph. To be honest, I think obviously that next step is a big one. But like I said, I think he's got all the ingredients and all the ability, and what we're seeing from him at the minute is very exciting and very positive.
Great, thanks, Dwayne, and good luck in the weekend.
That's that. Thanks.
Hi, Dwayne. Simon here. How are you, mate?
You okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. I just want to ask you one about your captain, your skipper, Josh. I think it's 5 tries in the last 4 games. Play of the match against Blackline, more tackles than anyone else in the competition last week. It seems to me like he's reminding us what the Scarlets and Welsh rugby missed out on for a lot of the last 3 or 4 years. And I know you've talked a bit about what he's done as captain, but can you just reflect on how pleased you are for him to see him getting this run and what he does bring for you, I guess, as leader and as player?
First, yeah, obviously delighted for him because I know that he's invested a lot, and I think that it's tough when a player is so committed to playing rugby and then you get an injury and then you get a long layoff and then you see him working so hard to get back and then it happens again, he has another injury. So getting him a run of games and this form he's been in now has been great because I know how much it means to him to represent the Scarlets as well. So I'm obviously delighted from that perspective. Leadership, yeah, he's really growing into that role. Again, he demands high standards of people around him, and also he demands high standards of himself. You know, he works bloody hard, and so from a leadership perspective, I've spoken a number of times of how important he is for us, on and off the field. But I think from a playing perspective, I think his intensity around stuff, Simon, is probably the biggest thing for me. I think he's an all-in player, and that's probably part and parcel where he picks up a few bumps at times. You know, I think he's all in on everything he does. So you know, he's robust. He's around the breakdown. He's tough around the breakdown. His tackle work. He mentioned more tackles than anyone else. But even like things like hitting mauls and disrupting mauls, he's all in, and I think that he's a great example for players wholly committed. You know, I don't want to say he's probably a bit of an old school forward in many ways as well. You know, he's got the hard edge about him, which is great, really. And I think that, yeah, I'm delighted with the way he's going at the minute. Delighted for him. It's great for us as a group to have him on this form, really, and you know, hopefully long may it continue, really.
He's played 6, 7, and 8 over the years. Where do you think he actually is best suited?
Well, he's playing 7 for us, so I think that you know, 7 for us last week, 7 for us when, you know, with Dan Davis available, potentially moves to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think either 6 or 7 is probably where he's at. I don't like. I don't. I think he's played 8 for us, but I think we have options in Vi. We have options in Tame Plumtree and Carwyn Tupeloto as well at 8. So he's probably 6 or 7. He plays the game very similar, whichever one he plays. In all honesty, where you have sometimes a taller, rangier 6 or a compact 6 like he is. He's probably more. Probably plays the game as a 7, whether he's playing 6 or 7. Really, I'd say. So yeah, I see him. If he was going to step up, probably a 7, stroke 6, really.
It's interesting you mentioned there the options. It is nice, isn't it, to be in that situation where you've got, well, I guess, a few headaches for games at the moment. Our selection meetings taking longer than they have at other times during your reign.
This week's probably been the one that's given more of the thought, in all honesty, because it's, you always have a view of, or maybe you have 2 or 3 games in advance where you think, right, we might rotate a bit here, we might give this guy an opportunity or a chance to play here or rest this guy. But obviously, when it comes to these crunch derby games, etc., it's more so, right, okay, let's go with who we think's right for this occasion. And it's, I think the last 2 weeks, Steph mentioned Ellis Mee coming into form and people like that. I think it's really given us food for thought. And it's great, really. It's great, and to be honest, it's great to have fit bodies. I think last year we were, just we had so many injuries at this time last year that it was difficult, and then it's difficult to tactically make the right calls. Difficult tactically, maybe to have impact off the bench at times. Where I think this year we've obviously at this present moment got fit bodies and. So it's nice to have those selection headache starters and also bench as well, because a lot of young players putting their hands up, pushing hard to get into the 23.
Where are you with your 2 long-term wing absentees, Steph and Tommy?
So Steph has been back full training this week.
Oh, good.
It was great for us because he's trained fully today in team, took part in a bit of contact as well. So. Look, he seems to be he's looking really sharp as well. And then Tommy's not far away. He's hoping to see Tommy in the next week or so into a bit of unit stuff and then move into the team. So in the new year, I'd expect them both to be back into full training and available at some within very closely after the Christmas break.
Even more selection headaches for you.
Even more, yeah.
Lovely, cheers, Dwayne. Thank you.
Sorry, Dwayne, just one more before I let the Dav. Ryan Elias, Christmas derbies? No, European?
Yeah, potentially. I don't think he'll make this week. Yeah, but next week is I'm hopeful that he'll be ready for January 1st. Yeah.
Dwayne, partiadau di mynd yn dda edrych mlaen at y gêm, ti Sadwrn?
Ydw, edrych mlaen yn fawr iawn. Mae fe'n amlwg yn gêm fawr yn blynyddol i ni fynd lawr i Abertawe chwarae. Ni ddim yn ennill na am spel. Felly mae Charlets mawr yn blaen ni. Ni'n gwybod bod nhw'n mynd i fod yn llawn egni, llawn ysbryd am wythnos hyn. A ni'n gwbl disgwyl hwnna. Mae'n bwysig bod ni'n gallu matcho hwnna a gwella ar y perfformiadau ni wedi bod yn neud, achos ni wedi bod yn waren eitha da. Ni wedi bod yn gystadleuol iawn, ond gwybod bod eisiau ni fod ar ein gorau wrth ysyn.
Chi wedi trafod eich record chi na, achos fel ti'n gweud, dwi ddim yn record da. Yw hwnna'n rhoi bach o ysbrydoliaeth i chi cyn y penwythnos?
Ydy, mae pob record na i dorri yn y gwe, so ni wedi siarad bwyty fe'n amlwg, achos mae fe'n ffaith. Falle bod rhai gweddau gêm ni pam ni wedi bod lawr yn Abertawe ddim digon da, ond mae'n bwysig bod ni'n gwella wrth ysyn, a ni'n siŵr bod ni'n barod yn yr agweddau ni. Fel chi'n gweud, ware ar ein gorau.
A beth chi'n disgwyl wrthyn nhw, achos mae wedi bod yn wythnos eitha anodd siŵr o fod i'r Gweilch, dy Toby Booth yn gadael. Beth fydden nhw fel dydd Sadwrn, ti'n meddwl?
O, fi'n siŵr bod nhw'n llawn ysbryd, achos chi'n bod yn amlwg, pan mae rhywbeth fel yna'n digwydd, chi wastad yn cael rwy fath o reaction bach. Rwy ffordd na llall, fi'n credu bod Mark wedi cymryd wrth y lliw, fi'n gwybod Mark yn dda iawn, chi'n bod yn amlwg, mae'n boi sy'n llawn egni, llawn ysbryd, a fi'n siŵr bydd e moyn Mae'n wedi chwarae yn erbyn i un dîm, bydde moyn warin dda wrthos hyn, felly mae fe'n stori dda yn y gywe Mark yn dod i'r lliw yn erbyn i un dîm disadwn, felly fi siŵr bydden nhw'n barod am y gêm.
Ie, mae'n tipyn o hanes, dy ti, dy Mark, dros y blynyddoedd, yn ffrindiau da.
Oedden ffrindiau'n da, ni'n nabod y gilydd ys bod ni felly 15 blwydd oed, mwar i'r tîm ieuenctid yn Llanelli man hyn, felly ffrindiau mawr o fe, so braf Gweilch cael y cyfle. Ni'n gwybod oedd e'n mynd i cael y cyfle diwedd y tymor, ond wedi dod bach mwy gyfle na beth felly oedd e'n disgwyl, ond fi siŵr bydd e'n barod, beth yw e, yw mae'n ddyn sy'n llawn egni, mae'n dwlu ar rygbi, felly sy'n helpu yn amlwg yn y swydd, ond byddai'n llawn ysbryd egni, felly pob lwc i fe yn ei swydd newydd.
Ie, dim gormod o lwc penwythnos yma. A ti'n disgwyl rhywbeth gwahanol wrthyn nhw Dan Mark Jones? Bydd e'n cael cyfle os oedd ei stamp yn barod wrthnos yma?
Wel, dyw e ddim fel bod e'n dod mewn o tu allan. Chybod, mae hwnna'n un peth. Petai fe'n dod mewn o'r tu allan, felly bydde rhywbeth gwahanol. Fi'n teimlo bod mae wedi bod yn upboi stamp ar y tîm am spel fach. Chybod, mae'n mynd i cymryd amser. Mae'n siŵr i fe cael cymryd yr awenau'n iawn a neu siŵr bod e'n gwneud pethau fel mae fe moyn e. Chybod, so sa'n siŵr, gen i weld am 3 gloch, bydd neu 4:45, beth sy'n digwydd. Ond fel sy'n gweud, fi'n ysu cael mynd mlaen o gêm pan oedd y Black Lions wedi gorffen os diwetha y gêm a pawb yn edrych yn syth at y gêm hyn, achos gêm mawr i ni fel tîm.
Grêt, diolch Dwayne.